Good morning, HWC Kids. Have you ever felt really small? Maybe you've stood next to Pastor John to have a conversation. Or maybe you've flown in an airplane and seen the earth from up above, and the people and the cars and the buildings, everything all looked miniature. Maybe you've climbed up really high in a tree and looked down, and all of a sudden you felt very small and weak and unsure of whether you could get down on your own. Or maybe you've gotten really overwhelmed and anxious about everything going on in your life, whether it's school, friend drama, family issues, being sick, having a big test or a game, and all of those things combined have made you feel really small, unimportant, unable, or weak. Well, life is full of obstacles, things that get in our way and keep us from moving forward, or that make us feel small and incapable of doing something. Well, we're back with the Israelites in Kids Connect today, and after all they've been through so far, they're facing another obstacle. Let's read about their predicament. God had given his people new rules for living, and now it was time for him to bring them to their new home, the land he had promised them. As they got closer, they wondered, what would it be like? Would it be just as wonderful as God had said? So God told Moses, send 12 men to explore the land. Moses sent the men off to find out everything they could about this new place. The spies crept quietly into the land and saw that it was incredible. It was everything God had promised it would be. There was just one problem. There were already people living in the land, and they were big, and they were scary. The spies rushed back to tell everyone the news. This land is green and beautiful and full of delicious things to eat, pomegranates and figs, and look at these gigantic grapes. It was far better than they had dreamed it would be. It's amazing, they said. Everything is huge. But so are the people who live there. There's no way we can get past them. The spies were so scared that soon everyone else was scared too. In fact, they were terrified. But wait, not everyone was worried. Two of the spies were different. Caleb and Joshua trusted God because they remembered Egypt. They remembered how God had rescued them. They remembered that God keeps his promises, which meant this promised land would be theirs. So let me summarize. The Israelites had been wandering for years trying to get to the promised land that God had for them. They'd faced enemies, thirst, and hunger, and now, just when they were so close to their new home, there was a land of giant, powerful people, even bigger than Pastor John, standing in their way. These people's grapes were so big that 2 men had to work together to carry them. Most of the Israelites hearing this felt really small and insignificant and defeated and incapable. These obstacles felt way too big for them, and they were ready to give up. But did you catch that in the story? 2 people, Caleb and Joshua, who would become the leader of the Israelites after Moses, knew that this obstacle was nothing for God. God had protected them from their enemies, walked them through the Red Sea, given them food and water, and brought them this far. Wouldn't he and couldn't he get them past this obstacle? I love how our curriculum puts it. To God, these are not obstacles. They're ways to remind us that obstacles are no problem for God. Sometimes God will remove an obstacle, and other times God might show us how to navigate around one. Just like with the Israelites, God has taken us through, over, and around many obstacles, so nothing can take us off track when following God. If we keep our eyes focused on God and not on the obstacles, we don't need to be afraid. We don't need to worry. God is with me, and God is with you. God wants us to have faith like Caleb and Joshua did, to stand tall and not feel small, and remember that any obstacle we face is no problem for God. Have a great day.